And on we'll go.
Welcome to another episode of Boom or Bust, the draft show. I'm Max Chadwick alongside PJ Clark, Tate Sigworth, and Nick Merriam. Another scouting report for you guys. We've got a couple recommendations for this one in the comments.
Yeah, requests.
There we go.
We
baby.
listen.
Keep coming at us.
We
Keep coming at
listen.
us. Virginia Tech corner Caleb Farley. Go over his strengths, his weaknesses, where he ranks for us on our boards.
You know what we do at this point.
Yeah, you know. Yeah, player comps, what NFL teams he might fit. If you haven't already, if you've been watching, hopefully you have. Follow our Twitter and Instagram at Boom or Bust Draft. We're on YouTube. Anywhere you get a podcast, please rate us 5 stars. If you're listening to us as well, and subscribe to the channel, please, as well. And check out our website below. We're posting more and more articles, mock drafts, everything that you want ahead of the draft. So let's go over Caleb Farley, the Virginia Tech corner. He's number 15 on the official Boomer Bust Big Board 1.0, which will be updated soon. He's a number 2 corner on our board behind Patrick Surtain from Alabama. He opted out of the 2020 season and declared for the draft. Really the first one to opt out on July 29th. Yeah, he was first. He started movement, started a revolution. On July 29th, he had concerns over COVID-19 as a leader. He would have been a redshirt junior this year. He's 6'2", 207, former 3-star recruit, 428 overall, number 27 athlete in 2017. Now, you hear athlete because he originally came to the Hokies intending to play wide receiver, but he missed all the 2017 season with a torn ACL and was forced to redshirt. So in 2018, he was switched to corner, and in 2 years at corner, he had 6 picks and 19 pass breakups. And last year, he was first team All-ACC after leading the conference in pass breakups with 16 and had a passer rating of, when targeted, of just 26.8. So PJ,
good.
It's good. Let's start with Caleb Farley. What do you like about him, PJ?
So you just said it. Athlete. That's the word. 6'2", 207. I am a staunch believer in big corner gang. This is a very good class for big corner gang, and he is the best among them. Patrick Surtain, not as big as Caleb Farley. Dude is so fluid for being 6'2". You know, once you start getting over 6'1", it starts to become kind of a concern whether you're able to move as a corner. I think the wide receiver background, you totally see it in the way he plays. Really physical guy, great man coverage. You know, there are zone questions, sure. Good press, good arm length, really physical, you know, gets in there, uses his hands well, the whole background. But this dude's going to run a really fast 40, athlete, which you don't see at the size of 6'2".
Yeah, I mean, the production here is awesome, and just the size and speed combination that PJ's talking about. He's a tall boy and he's a fast boy. Outstanding size for man coverage, outside corner. Obviously, the size helps in man coverage and contesting at the catch point, which he's excellent at, 19 pass break, like Max mentioned. And yeah, I mean, he's going to run like a 4.3, 4.35 at the combine, which, you know, is pretty quick. And also, fun fact, quarterbacks would have had a higher passer rating if they just spiked the ball every time instead of throwing at him. Folks, that's generally really good. I love Caleb Farley's skill sets. I think he translates to the NFL at the next level just really well. Surtain might be a little better, but I think it's really close between the two of them.
Great instincts, physical, big 6'2", 207 guy. Hands always ready. He can block, shed, and tackle. Sometimes they like to fake blitzing him because, honestly, like he's big enough and fast enough that quarterbacks would be afraid of him. One thing I noticed that I think he's really, really good at is he's kind of the not Sean Wade in that when the ball is coming, he's really good at playing it in terms of getting leverage on receivers.
Tate.
If he's in a bad position, he's really good at getting himself in front of receivers. He's able to get around from a trailing position to get in the best place for playing the ball, which a lot of guys struggle with. It's really hard to kind of get in that situational like spot where if you're trailing to leverage your body in front, it's easy to like think about in the moment, but it's just difficult to do. And he really has an easy time doing that. Which is a type of skill that won't need to be taught at the next level and should make it somewhat easier for him to cover in the NFL. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you guys mentioned it already. He's got all the tools that you'd want in an NFL corner. He's 6'2", 207, which you guys know I love the average height and weight. He's 3 inches taller, 14 pounds heavier than the average corner per mock draftable. Like you guys mentioned, though, that size doesn't sacrifice his speed because he reportedly, like Tate said, he ran a 4.35 40, which is 0.15 faster than the average. The average is 4.5. He was also, according to PFF, charted on GPS trackers running 24 miles an hour against Notre Dame last year. So this guy can move. Now, he's got the tools, and a lot of these guys are tools but no production. He's got production, too. Last year, he's got great ball skills. 6 picks in his career, 19 pass breakups in only 2 years at corner. And since he opted out, the last year of tape that we have on him was last year, which was phenomenal. So, Nick, let me talk to you now. What is Farley's weaknesses, do you think?
He doesn't get beat often, but in the small sample size that he did get beat, I'd say if you get him kind of in a tight spot where he's not able to get his hands on you and you can accelerate and kind of cut and be quick, he's not the best when he needs to stop and go a bunch of times all at once. That doesn't mean he's not athletic and he's not fast, but I think in terms of short time periods needing to like stop and start, you could beat him if you're like a Kadarius Toney, say, and you're running at him, you know.
Well, he can beat anybody. So
well, no, all right, calm down. I was giving you a compliment. You made it too much.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll go from there then. I have injury concerns. I think it's a very real thing. I mean, Max mentioned it, missed an ACL in his first year and then missed the last couple games of last year with back spasm. He had back problems the whole year, especially when you get into that size. A big corner with back problems is not what you want. That's not how you draw it up. That's not exactly ideal. So I think having that athletic profile at that size, I think, and a history of knee injuries already, it's something to keep an eye on for sure.
Yeah, PJ, you stole it. I was going to talk about his injuries, the ACL and the back spasms. There are things to pay attention to, not, deal breakers, certainly. But also, I guess I'll go with zone coverage. It's not his strong suit. We talked about he's really a man guy, which I guess we're docking him for not being good in zone. I mean, it's a skill set you need to have, but I think it's something that he can learn and can be taught. I think it's easier than being taught man skills. So, I don't know, injuries and zone coverage would be my 2 things to pay attention to for him.
Yeah, like my big thing with him is that he had 1 year where he was great, that redshirt freshman year coming off the ACL injury, and also really his first year only playing corner. He was pretty rough. He allowed a 96.5 passer rating when targeted, which isn't as good. Also played a lot of snaps in man coverage, but not a lot in press man coverage. So you think with the tools that he'd play a lot in press, but according to PFF, only 58 press man snaps. Also, not really a good run defender or tackler at all. He's missed 21 tackles on 74 attempts. That's 28% of his attempted tackles that were missed. For comparison, our number 1 corner, Surtain, only missed 9% of his attempted tackles. So Farley, one of the worst tacklers in this class at corner, which isn't as important for corner as it is for other positions like D-line or linebacker or even safety, but still something to keep an eye on that he's not as good of a tackler. Tate, give me the bottom line, though, on Caleb Farley. Give me where he ranks for you, a player comp you might have, and some team fits at the next level.
Yeah, so I mentioned it earlier. I think he's behind Surtain, so Farley's cornerback 2. I think he's currently number 12 on my big board. I think it's pretty close between the 2 of them. My comp, I'm going with a bigger Denzel Ward. Any chance to talk about an Ohio State guy? Denzel's very, very good in man coverage.
He does this every week.
Also a Brown set, which helps, I think, too, for him.
Yeah. It's just the double whammy for me. The size and the speed thing with Farley makes it really difficult to get a good comp for him. I think we all kind of struggled on that front, but I think the man coverage skills, I'm going to go with Denzel Ward.
I really like my comp. I'm going to be selfish here. So on the board, yeah, he's number 3 corner for me on our board. That the last update. I think the top 4 of Surtain, Samuel, Farley, and J.C. Horn are all, Surtain a class above, but the next 3 are all pretty tight for me. I don't know. He's going to end up, no lower than 4. He might be 2. I kind of think I like J.C. Horn better than him, but I haven't entirely decided on that. My team fit, I threw him to the Niners in my mock draft. If you want to go read in the description, Nick did one too. I think the Niners trade up for a quarterback, but if they don't and they stick in that early teens, Sherman's gone. Their whole cornerbacks are all free agents. I think that's a pretty sensible fit because Surtain will be gone. And Tate went with the Brown. I'm going with the Jet. Antonio Cromartie, 6'10", 6'2", 210. A guy, Farley returned a couple kicks, a guy who contributed on special teams. That's something Farley, I think, should be able to do. Cromartie, a great man corner, big, lanky dude. That's what I see when I see Farley.
6'10". That would be terrifying.
6'10". That would be terrible.
Play center.
Yeah, so for team fit for me, I had a bunch of teams down because it's difficult. I feel like with corners sometimes because it's tough to tell what teams are trying to do at times in coverage. I had Bears, Niners, Vikings down. I think the Bears and Niners are a little better just because I think he'll be helped from a pass rush that can kind of stymie some of those quick developing acceleration routes and might help him out. I have him 14th overall on my board, number 2 corner. I'm going back and forth on him with Surtain. I really like him just overall because I think he's one of the better at playing the ball and just being physical and man-to-man in this class, which I think is what you want the most out of corners these days in the NFL. So I will have him top 2 on my corner board probably going into the draft from here on. My comp is Byron Jones.
I like that.
Big guy, can play physical, can play man-to-man, but he's also fast. And big thing with Byron Jones was he didn't give up a pass completion of longer than like 50 yards up until this year. I don't know if that's changed with Miami, but in terms of what we've seen from Farley, he doesn't seem like a guy that's just going to get burned off the ball. I think it's going to be similar with him in the NFL.
Yeah, so on the latest board we dropped, he was number 21. He might move into the top 20 in our update. He's kind of a guy I go back and forth on. Some days I'm like, wow, this guy's awesome. And other days I'm like, actually, you know what? I don't know. Right now, CB3 for me behind Surtain and Asante Samuel Jr., but that could change. I think Surtain firmly is number 1, but Asante Samuel Jr. and Farley I'm going back and forth on. I love the tools and what he put on tape, but the fact that he opted out and we only have that 1 year of tape kind of worries me. He wasn't good in 2018. His run defending and tackling have been bad both years he played. Player comp, I'm going with Jimmy Smith from the Ravens. Similar size, 6'2", 210, similar speed. Jimmy Smith ran a 4.42. Another guy kind of had an up and down career and isn't great in run support, but has really good ball skills with 71 pass breakups and 14 picks in his 10-year career so far. New England, they're picking 16th right now. They could use some youth at the position. Arizona at 20 makes a lot of sense to me, too.
They could also use a wide receiver if they
wanted. They could also use it. I mean, he's
played wide receiver.
He's played wide receiver. He can move both sides for them. They need help at corner. I'm saying teams in the 16 to 20 range, though, because that's where I'd probably take Farley. But I'd be surprised, honestly, if this guy makes it out of top 15. Some team is going to fall in love with his tools and last year's tape. So that's what we got on Caleb Farley. Please like the video, subscribe to our channel, comment what you think about Caleb Farley. Where would you take him in this year's draft? Also, comment what you want to see us do next, because Farley, we've seen a lot of you guys comment Farley, like, let's do Farley. We could do other guys, too, that you guys want us to do. So please comment what video. It could be a scouting report, mock draft, literally whatever. Just comment what you want us to see do next. So please, again, follow our Twitter and Instagram at BoomerBustDraft and check out our website below. So for PJ Clark, for Tate Sigworth, and Nick Merriam, I'm Max Chadwick. Have a great night.